What's happening, folks? It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Today's Tuesday, March 4th. Hope you're well. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Cannara. We're going to look at the LOVE.V chart. And spoiler alert, there is a massive bullish continuation pattern on deck. It's a weekly bull flag potential. And if confirmed, we'll take a look at what we need to do to confirm it and what we need to do if we were to see it negated. We'll discuss all of that. And if it does confirm, 257 very well could be in the cards. But before we get to it, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff. You'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. And as always, we will take a look at the technicals, the price action, what to expect in terms of that, in my opinion, in the days, weeks, months ahead. This is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. Never buy or sell anything based on anything that I say or write. You can follow us over on X as well, formerly Twitter. Handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. So the stock's been on an absolute tear, really, since their stellar Q1 2025 earnings. It's not very rare or it's not very common. It's very rare at this point to see a stock run on such great earnings. But at the end of the day, I think it was just very undervalued. I think this was a name that flew under the radar for a while. It's kind of like a high tide, right? A lot of people just weren't familiar with high tide, and it seems like high tide, Cannara, Biotech, Oxley, those are all really starting to take flight here. And Cannara is profitable, and they're a very small producer out of Quebec. But if you haven't seen this video, I highly encourage you to check that out. They also had news that they extended their BMO credit line to 2027 and adds new financing. So they strengthened their financial footing as it grows its operations. Cannara announced on Monday, February 24th, that it extended its credit facility with Bank of Montreal until December 2027 and restructured a key loan securing long-term financing for its Quebec operations. And they still have a lot of potential to grow, both from within Quebec and then the rest of the country. And then just imagine what happens when we start to expand out of Canada, right? So the sky's the limit. It's been an exciting story. I've been covering Cannara for a while now. I've interviewed the CFO, Nick Sosiak, multiple times. If you haven't seen those, you can check it out as well. We're due for another update at some point as well. So we'll see if we can make that happen. But I've been following the story since the early days, and it's been a journey. And if we take a look at the chart here, just back in July of 2024 in the summertime, this thing hit 52 cents. And it also did a reverse split, 1 for 10, something that the industry's it knows all too well, right? A lot of these U.S. names, they didn't have to, like the U.S. MSOs, they didn't have to do that because they're not listed on major exchanges in the U.S., but something that they'll have to more than likely fight with in the future. And this is how quickly things can change, right? And this is what's going to more than likely happen to a lot of the tier ones. I was a little surprised, not going to lie, to see a lot of these smaller cap names start to run. Like I said, High Tide's been very strong. Oxley and Cannara Biotech, those have really been the ones standing out, while a name like Green Thumb, for example, is profitable, very large cap, tier one MSO, and the company posts amazing earnings quarter after quarter, but yet the stock's still down over 60% since April of last year. So we're starting to see, and this is generally what happens, right? You see that hard and fast flush and then a massive recovery. And just before you know it, we're hitting new all-time lows. And this is on the TSXV. And then after the bounce of last month to the all-time high here on the TSXV, only 26% away. So that's how quickly things can change. And just from those lows, fresh new lows and all-time lows on the July 2024 low, we're up 182%. So again, things can change in a hurry. We just had, we're actually seeing it occur right now, the first ever monthly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross. We also confirmed the monthly uptrend here with a low, high, higher low, and higher high. So in the month of, we'll call it December 2024 last year, that's when we really started to see escape velocity in that monthly uptrend and follow through. And now, like I said, that monthly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross is playing out. That's the first in history. And something even more exciting than that, we have the bullish continuation pattern on the weekly time frame, which is the weekly bull flag. So if you take your measured move here, so from the low, take your fib tool, to the high of the bounce, we know that's the top of that bounce because we finally started weekly consolidation here, means we just lost the low of the previous candle. And as you can see, anything over the 0.3 to fib 115 is the potential for a weekly bull flag. So as long as we maintain above 115, bulls are just fine. This is healthy. A lot of people are saying, what's the deal? Why have we pulled back so much? Well, the S&P 500 was weak today. We have this tariff threat looming over us. The whole sector continues to be bearish. So I would say we're doing quite well, but with the S&P 500 volatility and weakness today as well, the stock just in a few days was down about 20%. But like I said, when you're up 180%, 10, 20, 30% pullbacks are nothing. They're just a blip in the radar. And it's exactly that. When in doubt, zoom out, look at the weekly time frame. We're still in a weekly uptrend, and we just had the weekly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross, and it's still a potential weekly bull flag. So you just take your measured move here from the low to the high. At this point, it's still extremely healthy. And then you move it out to your 0.382 fib, and there's your measured move. So it's saying $2.57 Canadian is achievable if we confirm this bullish continuation pattern. In order to confirm it, we need to break the high of the bounce there at 146. In order to negate it, like I said, we need to lose 115. Lose 115, probably heading back to that $1.05 to 96-cent region. And then we'll probably tighten up, and it could be a type of equilibrium, which is just a tightening range, right? Where you start to compress a little bit, and then you either break down or break up. But if you see a bullish continuation pattern like a bull flag, that basically just means that it's healthy consolidation. The pullback was due. We had no support nearby, all the way down to 65 cents. So that no wonder when we started consolidation there, when we lost 124, that we would see a 10-20% pullback. That's very common. So like I said, looking for this weekly continuation pattern to play out, but it's all about support and resistance. It's not about what we want to play happen or what we want to happen, what we think is going to happen. It's just about reacting to support and resistance breaking. And that's the key support and resistance levels to be watching in order to confirm or negate. And then on the weekly time frame, we had a stochastic bear cross here on the weekly time frame, which was a little bit of a cause for concern. But again, the fact that we are just seeing very, very brief weekly consolidation, the 10-week moving average is going parabolic here, and we're still bullish on the MACD. So 2 out of our 3 weekly indicators, macro indicators, are still very bullish. So not worried at all. We're also gearing up for a 50 and a 100 weekly moving average bull cross, which would be the second time in history. You can see here it happened back in 2021. And then we could see the first ever 50 and 200 weekly moving average bull cross, which would be very, very bullish, but I don't anticipate that happening for at least 6 months, just based on, it could happen maybe in 3 or 4 months, but I would say 3 to 4 months bare minimum, but most likely scenario, probably 5 or 6 months before we see that happen based on how far away they are. That would take quite a while for those to really start to play out. So on the daily time frame, we just had a golden cross though, and that was just back on November. So in November, you can see here and it's kind of an example, like a different way of looking at this, right? This is the weekly time frame. So when they're this far away on the weekly time frame, in order for them to cross, it's more than likely going to take multiple months. And the further they are away, the longer that's going to take on a monthly basis, right? So for example, on the daily time frame, where every candle represents one day, you can see, how far away we were here from seeing the golden cross. It took, well, that was in November 2024, and then to the time that it actually crossed was in January, right? So that took a couple months just to see that play out. So there's an example and a good way of explaining it, that if they're this far away in the weekly time frame, it's probably going to be at least double or triple that, right? So I would say maybe toward the end of 2025 is where we'll really start to see some momentum in the sector. And that makes a lot of sense too, because big tech, crypto, AI, more than likely going to top out over the next few months. And what have I been saying on this channel for a while now? I think once we see big tech, crypto, AI top out, that's going to be a great rotational play into MJ. I'm going to be looking to sell a ton of crypto profits, and I'm going to be rotating those into more beaten down MJ. And for context, my largest crypto holding, which is XRP, it's 80% of my crypto portfolio. That holding alone is worth more than my entire MJ portfolio combined by a country mile. I would say maybe even like 4 or 5 times. So just imagine, I'm going to be smashing that buy button hard, and I've got a pretty decent position in Cannara Biotech, full disclosure, but I will be looking to add to it potentially. I'll definitely be waiting for a dip though. Well, hopefully, I was able to load, quite a bit, substantially under $1 before this big breakout. So I'm pretty happy with my overall position. I'll have to do another update as well on my MJ portfolio. It has changed quite a bit. And like I said, with the new TFSA, tax-free savings account contribution for 2025, I think I maxed out around 65% of it, maybe close to 70% now for 2025. So I still got about 35% left. And then I'll be looking to add to my retirement account, my RRSP, which is a little bit different. You get taxed when you take the money out when you're retired. typically you have a less income, you have less of an income, right? So you're not taxed at a higher tax bracket. That's kind of the idea. Whereas a tax-free savings account, it's just that it's after tax money, you put it in, everything's all the gains in there are tax-free. So all the profits you keep. But going into there, let me know what you think of this. Like I said, all about support and resistance. I'm going to be cheering on the bulls. We'll see if we can confirm this weekly bull flag and get into that 2 to 250 territory. But let me know what you think of this. You think we're going to confirm or negate it? Always love hearing from you. It's Rod with Power Group. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth, and we'll catch you on the next video.